Joining us now is Jennifer Griffin. She's at the Pentagon tonight. The president said a precision strike on targets associated with chemical weapons capability of the Syrian dictator Assad, a combined operation with the armed forces of France and Great Britain. Jennifer, sounds like the precision attack sounds very strategic, that perhaps maybe they know where these locations are, certainly militarily. They're looking at the Syrian military.
Well, that's right. They will be looking at the Syrian military as well as chemical weapons capabilities. That's what the president said. I'm told from a senior military official who has briefed the president in the past a year ago when he first saw those images of a chemical weapons strike, those children and women who were writhing in pain from not being able to breathe from the nerve agents that were used, or the chlorine that was used at the time. And I'm told that the president was extremely emotional when he saw those initial videos. And that is, you heard in his voice this time around, the same kind of emotion as he laid out very calmly his case for why the U.S., Britain, and France had to respond to this chemical attack. We've been reporting in recent days about the U.S. assets that are in the region, that are in position. The USS Donald Cook, expected them to have been in play. They had 75 Tomahawk missiles on board that destroyer, which is in the eastern Mediterranean. It was joined by a French frigate. We have reported that they had 12 cruise missiles on board, as well as some surface-to-air missiles to protect those ships. Remember, in recent days, Sean, a Russian admiral, as recently as this morning, had said that Russia would strike back at any U.S. warships that and named the Donald Cook by name if they struck Syria. We also have been reporting that there are two U.S. warships in the Red Sea, south of Israel, in the Red Sea, that are in play tonight. The USS Monterey, the USS Laboon. We had been withholding their names at the request of the Pentagon, but we do know that they are in position. What we don't know at this point is whether any aircraft are involved in these strikes. The explosions that are being reported on Twitter in downtown Damascus suggest that the U.S. and its allies will be exacting a price from President Bashar Assad himself. And if you look at the strike a year ago, when those 59 Tomahawks, 58 airstrikes, as the president mentioned, they had targeted just one base, the Shayrat base, where the chemical weapons attack occurred a year ago. But that only took out 20% of President Bashar Assad's aircraft at the time, and within 24 hours they were flying. His Air Force was flying again. And so, in order to provide a deterrent, this is going to have to be a stronger signal. And at this point, we will know more at the top of the hour when the Pentagon briefs us on what some of those targets were.
And Jennifer, the Russia has been blocking UN condemnation, even accusing the UK of using chemical weapons. And I think the earliest indication we had this week that something was going down is Russia had pulled out all of their vessels from the area. And when you talked about and mentioned saber rattling from Russia, really was from Moscow, not from Putin himself, correct?
Well, we've been hearing it from very senior Russian officials, whether it was Sergei Lavrov, his foreign minister, as well as the top General Gerasimov. He made a certain threat, as well as the Russian ambassador to the UN and the Russian ambassador here in the U.S. So very, very top officials who speak for Vladimir Putin were issuing those threats to the U.S. But again, the U.S. military has force protection in place, and so they did not take those threats very seriously. And any threats to shoot down the Tomahawks or the missiles, the incoming cruise missiles, the Russians also have those S-400 air defense systems, and they can fire off missiles from inside Syria. But again, the sheer number of Tomahawks that the U.S. and its allies have in position, and cruise missiles, they would easily overwhelm that kind of air defense system. Sean.
All right, Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon.